I think my worst fear is getting boxed. Maybe I wanted to do that for now, and maybe the next one may be completely different. I just want it to be able to still, like, someone hears and they're like, wow, that's Robbi.
Welcome back, family. This is the Indie Seed. I'm your man, your host, Trey Henderson, and I am happy to be here with the artist, the enigma, Robbi. What's going on, my dear? How are you today?
Hi, I'm pretty good.
Question for you, right off the bat. Why music?
I feel like I already am a creative person, and I've always used different outlets to express myself.
Yes.
Because even though I do love words and speaking, I think that music and art helps me convey that more clearly. Because we can say a lot of things, but sometimes it's hard to really express what you're thinking or feeling.
Yeah.
And I think it gives me a way to be able to express myself, and also maybe play around with things. I love sounds. I love so much music.
Yeah.
And I just think you can literally make anything, even if it's like a stick on the ground, you know? So I just really appreciate that about it, because I do think sounds are important, and I do feel like it's not only artistic but a healing thing, and as well as informational.
Do you feel like it makes your message a little more palatable when you put rhythm and melody and all those things to it?
Yes, because I feel like different rhythms and melodies emit feeling for us. So people have different reasons on why a certain type of music they may gravitate towards, or helps them feel something. I think a lot of times you listen to music, people are saying things that you also feel. Like there's like this universal consciousness. They're just able to express it differently, you know? And it's nice to be able to reference that, or to understand, like, wow, I'm not the only one who has these thoughts or feelings, or, may be able to connect with other people. Yeah.
Did you, at one point or any point, struggle with being able to articulate just how you feel?
I think that that's actually where I struggle the most.
Okay.
Because it's actually difficult for me. As much as I love listening to other people, and I can do a good job, I think, of explaining things, or breaking down concepts. I think the hardest and most difficult thing for me is speaking about my own feelings. I think it's a lot easier to speak of things in a third person, or understand someone else, or maybe help them explain how they're feeling. But for me, it's something that I personally struggle with. In that struggle,
I know you said music helps you to convey all those messages, but was that something that you heard in your house all the time? Like, what's your real connection to music?
I think that I was very blessed to have been surrounded by music and creativity growing up. My dad played trumpet, and I believe piano and a couple other instruments, and my mom played oboe, clarinet, and also he had an extensive catalog, just a lot of different music, whether it be 8-track records, CDs, even us having music channels. Like, that was something that I always connected with my father with. And other family that we've had. My grandmother is a music professor at Columbia University. She just retired. So
this is genetic. You're not.
No. My sister's singing stuff. I think it's just that I think anyone can, if certain people were given the opportunity to be exposed to so many different types of music, or I think it makes you a more open-minded person. I think it helps in understanding other people and other things. I think that it allows you to explore things more. So I do think everyone should have that opportunity. I was very lucky that I did have it. As amazing. Well as, I grew up with great writers and public speakers, so I was very lucky in that regard.
A typical day growing up in your house, what would you hear on the record player?
I grew up in West Pembroke Pines. It's crazy because I would hear a lot of different things from my parents. Like, they would play Lenny Kravitz. I remember one of the first songs I knew the lyrics to, that my mom got upset, was I don't kind of make to work because I got high.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like the first song I knew all the lyrics to because of my dad. And it was like really upsetting for my mom. She was like,
so you go from Kravitz to Kravitz to
yeah,
craziness.
and I would hear, and then my dad would also play, you know, just like all kinds of music. Like I would hear, I don't know, Def Leppard. I would hear, Tribe Called Quest. I would hear like all kinds of things. Like Kenny G. My dad just listened to everything, and as well as world like international music. We watched a lot of international films. And actually, my uncle was like, he passed away, but it was Will, the real one. He used to be on Def Jam Poetry, and I learned a lot from him, honestly, because when we were kids, like, he would play something in the car and then, like, tell us, like, okay, let's try to freestyle. Yeah. And we were, like, children, and I didn't, like, until I got older, I realized, I was like, wow, like, that actually helped me so much in life. Even now, like, you know, it's, like, a lot of times when it comes to making music, I either will make a beat first, or, like, I'll just say something and then go from there, or I like to work from concepts, I think. That's
good, because I was going to ask what your process was, being flooded with so much music and knowing, you know, and words and linguistics and sounds. Where do you start? So for you, it's a word or a concept.
I think, like, even, like, poetry and stuff like that is musical. Yeah. I think that language is musical. For me, I like to think of concepts because there's so much to cover, and I just think sometimes if I have an idea, like, I also make playlists, and what I do is I have an idea, and I'm like, okay, I want to work around that idea, and it inspires more thought, and actually gives me, like, a clearer path to what I was trying to convey, I think.
The COVID Chronicles. New EP. And you have a single being released. What's the single, and what is it about? What can we expect to hear? So actually, what is crazy is, I did make a lot. I feel like COVID kind of helped me focus more creatively, because I was forced to have all of this time by myself. There wasn't as much distraction with work or hanging out or any of that. And COVID Chronicles, like, basically, this first single I have called Social Dilemma. It was my first time making a song on Logic. This single that I made was me expressing the discomfort and just disorienting feeling there is, like, when you go anywhere. I mean, now it's weird because it's like, I want to go to the beach. You know, let's go check out this bar. Let's go to this movie. But there's this, like, looming uncomfortable feeling in, like, the back of your mind, like, I don't want to catch this virus. What if this person is sick? Like, you know, I'm also immunocompromised. I have type 1 diabetic, so I'm like, I have to be more careful going here, doing that. It sucks because you, like, feel trapped almost. And the single is, like, again, very disorienting. There's no real time signature. It's very kind of like, you know, you're trying to figure out maybe even what I'm saying, you know? It's something that I made, like, rather quickly compared to other processes I've done. What I was going to ask you earlier on was if you feel the weight or responsibility of reflecting the times in your music, and is that really an artist's responsibility? I don't think you should be required to comment on what's going on, but at the same time, I feel like as an artist and as someone who should be pretty conscious of what's going on around you, I don't see how you could not reference what's going on. I don't think that people should if someone wants to make a song about being happy and eating apples in this time, then that makes sense too, because you know what, like, this is a dark time, like, people want to feel better about themselves and what they're doing. But for me, because I'm someone who is interested in, like, social politics and history and my surroundings and my environment, I couldn't imagine not referencing. However, I don't think all of my music that I'm releasing is going to necessarily be as dark. But for this COVID Chronicles, I want to explore the different feelings that I've had to go throughout this year, and also that I may have been dealing with now. So for me, I feel like I'm such an eclectic person. I think my worst fear is getting boxed, like, into a genre, or getting boxed into, like, oh, this is her single, we're gonna hear more of that, something that sounds like that. It's like, maybe I wanted to do that for now, and maybe the next one may be completely different, but it's still I just want it to be able to still, like, someone hears and they're like, wow, that's Robbi. What are you hoping to achieve, and how do you feel you'll be embraced, I should say, by an industry that loves to be able to box you and label you? I think something that I think about a lot, especially when you study, like, you know, where certain music came from or what circumstances there were. As a black artist, the first thing people are going to do are box you somewhere, and there's usually, like, 3 areas they go. Is it R&B? Is it hip-hop? Is it,
whatever else. But
soul,
realistically, we cover all genres.
Yeah.
And one thing that a lot of Black artists have had to do is, like, because they were not allowed in one space, they had to create their own.
Right.
And I think just besides even my race, just as a person, like, I would like to create my own space within other spaces. One thing for me is I've always been misunderstood, and it's something that I realized, like, I had to just, like, literally make my own space in places.
Was it really the perception of people, or was it that you internally struggled with being expressive or articulating whatever was on your mind and on your heart?
I think it was both, because I was actually someone that always said how I felt and was very, like, expressive and, like, not afraid to say things.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that has got me into a lot of uncomfortable places. Because it's not like I'm saying things to be out there or, like, to offend people. No, it's like,
right.
I'm just like, if I feel strongly about something, or if I feel something is unjust or whatever, like, I'm going to say something.
Yes.
And sometimes, that doesn't sit well with a lot of people, because most of the time we're always trying to kind of, like, not be seen.
Right.
And I think I just don't feel a need to ever censor myself or to not be myself. And I think in being myself, it has caused me to be misunderstood.
Okay.
And it has been difficult in that way, but I've also been appreciated for it. So it's like a double-edged sword, I feel like.
Yeah. Have you been able to do in your music, like, tell somebody off, but now there's melody to it? So it's like...
I think something that has always kind of bothered me is how people will get stuck in this idea of tonality. They're like, you should speak to me nicer about this. And it's like, for me personally, I almost don't care how nice someone is. It's what's important to me is the message. Yes, obviously we should all be civil, but sometimes, you don't know what someone's surroundings were, how they express themselves. So, I may be speaking to you and it may come off a certain way, but I think it's important for everyone to just be more understanding. For me, when it comes to any conversation, the most important thing ever is a seed of thought.
Yes.
You don't have to convince someone right then and there. You don't have to be fully understood right then and there, but it's a seed of thought that inspires someone to think, about other things. My name is Robbi Robsta. On Instagram, I'm at ROBBI ROBSTA, Robbi Robsta. On Bandcamp, it's robbirobsta.bandcamp.com. And I am pretty responsive to DMs, especially when they're reasonable, Like, feel free to contact me. I love meeting other musicians, other artists. Like, my most important thing is connecting with people, so...
I'm your man, Trey Henderson. Special thanks to producers of the Indie Seed, Context of a Generation. Again, Trevon, at The Other Trevon on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you so much, y'all. Peace and blessings.
So that was the Indie Seat. If you like what you saw and you want to be a partner, or if you want to collaborate with us, even if you're an artist and you want to submit your work, check out our website, contextofageneration.org, or go ahead and submit an email to us at submit@contextofageneration.org. And for all the artists, make sure you put your name, your social media handles, and attach some of your work as well. And for those who are interested in being a partner or collaborating, please email us and we would love to reach back out. Peace. That was the Indie Seat. Thank you.